If the name Andrea Riseborough is not familiar to you, it should be by now, especially if you're someone that likes some of her movies. I remember this one movie with Tom Cruise, I think it's called Oblivion. She co starred with him in that movie, so that's how I might remember the name. Now, she's sort of been in the news for a strange, confusing reason. She's 41 years old. She's British, in case those are not familiar. And she's well respected by her peers, even though she's like under the pop culture radar, like not super popular amongst her acting peers today, but she's not by no means less of a good actor. She's very good, in fact. But she did star alongside Nicolas Cage, uh, play the role of his wife in a movie, character named Mandy, I think. Anyway, it's in a movie called Leslie, To Leslie, I should say, directed by Michael Morris. It stars Riseborough as a title character. Oh yeah, so to be clear, this whole controversy is about Andrea Riseborough, who starred in a movie called To Leslie, directed by Michael Morris, as a title character. It's like hard drinking West Texan who won the lottery years ago and used all her money immediately and ruined all of her relationships. And it frustrated her friends and family, and they don't know what to do to help her and all that good stuff. So, and try to help her get out of rock bottom. It sounds, and it's sounds like a sounds like a pretty good premise. I can't lie. It debuted in the South by Southwest Film Festival last March, even alongside some high profile films like, of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which has gotten awards, especially just recently at the Screen Actor Guild's Awards. Sorry. And To Leslie has received really critical praise, positive reactions, and so forth. And that's all fine. But the thing is, from its October release, box office earnings, um, as a result, were like less than $38,000 during that time. So it's fine. So why am I mentioning this movie? Because there was a late Oscar vote where all of a sudden her name was nominated for Best Actress for her role in that movie, and even a podcaster by the name of Mark Moran accused the film's distributor, Momentum Pictures, for gross incompetence on Twitter and failing to submit the film for awards consideration, for different ceremonies other than just Oscars and Screen Actors Guilds and Golden Globes and so forth. But, Oscar race takes some time. So of course, when people like Kate Winslet, Edward Norton, Jennifer Aniston, Charlize Theron have all publicly been very supportive of this movie, somehow it got considerable amount of attention and really a possible consideration for her to be nominated in the role for To Leslie as Best Actress. So this is why the whole thing started. There was like an investigation from the Academy Awards of how the whole voting process was done. So it's a bit weird. And industry watchers have noted that soliciting votes is often done to a level of the playing field, bringing attention just for small budget, little known films. When some movies don't really get a lot of consideration, especially when they're very small budget compared to today's films that, at a budget like, if not a billion, let's say like 700 million, $800 million budget films, especially since they're going to be blockbuster and a lot of the attention will be on both special effects and visual effects. It's expected something like this would happen. But of course, it's really great that even smaller budget films that not a lot of people run to the movie theaters to see really get a lot of attention. Like the this one movie with Colin Farrell, Inisheens, the Banshee of Inisheens, something like that. I might get the title wrong, but it's just another great example, you know. So reacting to the whole thing, she had an interview recently with the Hollywood Reporter for the first time since the whole incident. She did say, "It's been confusing and wonderful. The film's getting seen. I suppose it's really bright ray of light. When any of us engage in anything, we want for that piece of work to be absorbed in some way. You can't control how people absorb it. That was just marvelous. Recalls Two-Leslie director Michael Morris, and that's kind of what social media does. It is a platform for people to touch base with the people that follow them and say in enthusiasm, "Check this out." People can pick up those threads and then they can amplify them if they like it. When it got through to me that so many people were reaching out with personal, passionate responses about the film, Riseborough says, I was very moved because the subject matter is very important to me, and I believe in the message of the film. She also said, there was a lot of chatter beforehand in those few days leading up to the nomination, but the very realistic part of me has been doing this for 20 years, didn't think this would happen. I don't think that you dare to allow yourself to imagine that would happen to something that you shot in 19 days. Wow. Is she really saying that this movie was filmed in 19 days? Maybe that's why it didn't take a lot of money for it. I don't know. A bit of a surprise. I doubt a movie like this needed 19 days, but then again, it didn't need green screens or whatever now, blue screens, or uh being on a set, or I don't know, whatever it is, like just all natural locations. That's pretty impressive to make everything like as authentic as possible without needing so much visual work and all kinds of visual effects studios. But that's impressive in itself. It not only makes sense that this conversation would be sparked, but it isn't necessary. The film industry is abhorrently unequal in terms of opportunity. I'm mindful not to speak for the experience of other people because they are better placed to speak, and I want to listen. Yeah, I respect her. I'm gonna respect her for those opinions. She's right that a movie like this, a subject matter of, as she said, does matter to her. So many people can relate when they hit rock bottom, emotionally, financially as well. It's important for them. It's important to get the message spread out. It's real life matters. It's just a hard subject, but it's real life. And, I respect her for just being very open and honest and just taking us through how she confused she was, like her emotional state as well. Just kind of like why something like this, a movie like this, really meant a lot to her that it got so much attention. And you know what? I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, it's definitely got my attention now. I'd say like, given the time, I'd be like, yeah, why not? I'd go check it out. Sure. It, I mean, you don't lose much other than precious time, but even that precious time is well used for a very strong and important film like this.